Hi guys,
Welcome to
Sway Me.
In today's episode, we're going to be talking about being black in China.
All right, so we've both been to China. We both lived in
We
China.
both lived in China.
So being black in China is really an interesting experience. Like really interesting,
A lot of highs and a lot of middles.
and a lot of lows for me. I mean, not too much, but just a few lows.
Things happen that stay with you, good and bad.
Let's talk about a few of the differences between living in the Western world, just generally, like about the place and stuff, as opposed to living in China.
Okay.
You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
You can go ahead.
All right. So one of the things I noticed with living in China is that people are like a community. So if you ask one person for directions, if they don't know, they're gonna call somebody else. That person's gonna try to help. And if they don't know, then they call somebody else. And then before you know it, you have a whole crowd of people trying to give you directions to go one
bank,
place. Anywhere. Like if you ask for help and they know that you're not from there, they're like really, really quick to try to help you. Mostly because they're nosy.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, mostly because they're nosy. But you know, like it's not like a bad nosy. It's kind of like curiosity. They're trying to learn about us.
That's what I think.
And another thing, if you pass by one person in China and say good morning one time, every morning after that, they're going to tell you good morning.
That was that person, I think.
No, I mean
everybody.
Yeah.
Oh.
If the person is there, like stationary, and you tell them one morning.
Yeah.
I feel like a few of them, like a lot of them.
I didn't have that experience. Maybe
really?
Some places,
but she never lived in the touristy part. She lived in like the suburbs or more rural, place. Yeah, but being black in China is really an experience because sometimes you go on the road and people think that you're a celebrity because you're black skinned. They probably think that you're a model. They probably think that you're some international wealthy person because like a lot of people feel like it's expensive to go to China from another country, which is kind of true.
It is. $1,000 ticket from Jamaica anyways.
Yeah, for real. I think being black in China opened my eyes to the fact that the world is so big and there are so many different perceptions out there. You know, like and one thing, I mean, this doesn't have anything to do with being black, but one thing I noticed in China was that, oh my gosh, there's like zero crime. There is like zero crime. Reported. But there's like zero crime. Like you don't feel unsafe. I know a lot of people talk about the chop shops in China where they get like expats and take out their organs and sell them on the black market. And yes, that is true. But for the most part, I think it's pretty safe apart from those stories I've heard of.
Yeah.
I didn't experience any of that.
Yeah. And if something like that happened, I feel like they would lock down on that area and you wouldn't really be allowed to go there.
And it wouldn't be exposed. Like, they're very good at keeping secrets.
They're good at containing
they're very nosy, but they're good at keeping secrets within their country. So yeah, China was an experience. Some negative things though for me was I never liked the fact that people were always like coughing and hawking up mucus, like and spitting everywhere. Like I did not like that. That was a culture shock for me. And I didn't like the fact that like the toilets had squatties because it was just like, listen, I ain't got those meg knees. I don't have those meg knees, man.
And so if you're in like a city, you're not really gonna see those. Or if you're in a mall, it'll have the label on the door to say if it's a flat toilet or the Western toilet.
Oh, and my mall never have any labels, and there were like probably two toilets in the whole mall. Everything else was squatted. In your house, you have a toilet though.
Yeah.
So
Some
I mean,
people's houses.
some people house don't have.
I heard of a colleague told me of a foreigner that was there,
Mhm.
and she got an apartment, and it was a flat one.
Did she take it?
I think there wasn't really a choice at the
Oh,
time, but
uh-huh.
then like moved later down.
Yeah, I couldn't squat every day for
I
every
liked
toilet.
it.
I like sitting in the comfort of my toilet seat.
Sometimes
Like,
you need
listen,
that that position. It makes things easier.
I don't know. Okay. What about you? What was your like? What stood out for you living in China?
Differences I saw from the West and between the West and the East. First is the cost of living.
Oh
It
yeah, I
was
didn't even talk about that.
so it's a big difference.
Oh yeah.
When I'm in Jamaica, my wallet is out of breath. When I'm in the US, it's it's still panting and racing. In China, my wallet is like, are we doing anything today? Like the rent is low. Well, from where I was living, because rent can be high, but I didn't need to be in any luxury apartment. Rent for me was super low. When I convert it, it's like $300 a month. Heat during my electric bill, like during the winter or summer, whatever, and I have my air on or heater on, it will not pass maybe $50 for the month. Water, call it some cents for water. I really love the cost of living, and food can be super cheap. Of course, there's the option of going grocery shopping or ordering food. Either one you choose, it's not going to be a lot of money unless you're going to like some Michelin star restaurants in Shanghai every weekend or every day. Otherwise, food can be quite affordable. Transportation, there are the high speed trains. It's not a lot of money for that either. From like Shanghai to Beijing, that's a 6 hour train ride. And that's what that was like converted maybe $20 to go several, what was is it, 1,000 kilometers? A long journey for
Several thousand miles.
$20, right? And there are you can like scan bicycles or scooters and have them rented. You pay like not even a cent to ride for 30 minutes. So transportation is there. There's Diddy's, that's like Uber here. You can call your cab. There is AMAP. There's a lot of options. A lot of options are there, and sometimes you don't. Of course, we didn't use cash. Everything's on your phone with Alipay or WeChat Pay. So money,
it's like a little scan code,
money
and you
wasn't
just open
really
your phone
used.
and put it on whatever you're paying on the payment device.
Money
It's
wasn't
really cool.
really used, and you can order anything off your phone on Taobao, and it's really cheap.
Taobao is like
And
Amazon or
you can
Temu.
use reviews. If you don't trust the cheapness for the quality, you can look at reviews to go through that. So costs, I think the cost of stuff in China can be low. It also can be high if you're like more into name brands and stuff like that. Yeah, so that was the biggest plus side for me. I could save like 80% of my paycheck, and that was lovely.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I feel like paying for things and the cost of living is ridiculously cheap in China. In comparison to the US or in comparison to Jamaica. It's just, I feel like to get like a nice place, you really have to do a lot of shopping around. One thing I never liked about shopping for places was that a lot of the places were hella dirty. Like they were so dirty. And normally, like in Jamaica or in the US, when you when you going to look at somewhere you're going to rent, they at least sweep it out.
That was a shock.
You know, that was, for me, that was like, wait, what?
The first place I lived, the first place I lived, it wasn't like a city. It was like a third tier city. So it
Oh,
wasn't on Shenzhen, Shanghai level. It wasn't even on Hangzhou level. It was like bush. Got there at night. First apartment I saw, dirty. I knew a turtle lived there because the turtle's thing and the turtle's food was there. Somebody had a turtle. They just left stuff, and it was
yeah, they just
dirty.
leave things inside their apartments, and then whoever is renting it just rent it same way with no cleanup, no
My
adjustments,
last
nothing.
place I left stuff like the water dispenser, heated blanket, stuff that I think that will be useful to the next person. Like
Maybe they thought the trash was useful to you too.
everything was clean. If I live somewhere, it's spotless. So they would see, and I left coffees for them, and not for them. I was running out of time to pack, but I only left things that would be beneficial.
Not everybody drink coffee though. Like I don't drink
They
coffee.
can give it to somebody else. But
Okay.
yeah, a lot of places. But I got a new apartment once. Oh my god, it was so beautiful. Not all of them dirty, but it was dusty from construction, so they didn't clean it.
But I mean, we're
anyways.
Jamaicans. We clean our place before we live in it anyway. So
But still, you want to go in and not have to pick up trash.
this is true.
That was a shocker.
It's kind of like distasteful too. Yeah.
Mhm.
For it to be like super dirty. Like, didn't you know I was coming? Couldn't you like touch up the wall that the kid
Yeah.
drew on or something? You know? Yeah.
And another difference as well, is like if you're doing business or if you want to open a business in China, you need to have a cosign by a Chinese
person.
native. Yeah. Because foreigners can't just own land or own a business by themselves. You have to have some connection to China.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is good. They're like
I think other
protecting their
countries should follow
territory.
suit.
Mhm.
I think Jamaica should do that and not just let everybody come and buy up everything.
Everybody meaning the Chinese. Because I mean, Chinese own a lot of land in Jamaica. To be honest.
know.
A lot of people don't know that.
Them get Goat Island?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't even know what Goat Island is.
it's an island. I don't know if it has goats, but it's called Goat Island. It's a good
I've heard of it, but
logistic hub thing in Jamaica. Like it has a good location for like shipments and things. And the Chinese government was interested in buying it back in 2013 or somewhere there. I don't know if it went through though.
yeah, I feel like technology is like advanced. To some regard, it's advanced. Like most of the apartment buildings at in the nights they
Have
light up
colors and light
and
up.
they put designs and
Yeah.
the lights show up in different ways. I think that's really cool.
Mhm.
And I feel like also like when you go to certain restaurants, the robots come and take your
Or
order.
hotels.
Or and they like give you the little cookie or the little candy at the end of your meal. So that's pretty cool. Like sometimes you walk around the mall, you see the little robots walking around doing different things.
Mhm.
They ask you questions and you can interact with them. I think that was really cool.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought there. Well, that is nice. Very technologically savvy. The hotel rooms.
Oh yeah.
The hotel rooms.
Oh yeah. The hotel rooms in China. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
I mean, places here do it too, I guess. But I love when I can be in bed and just press a switch
button
and my drapes just open. And it's not an expensive hotel. It's like maybe 3-star or something like that. It can even be 1-star and still have that stuff.
Yeah. The door is open for the toilet when you press the button. The shower, it's just like everything is so fast and press button and you're done and it's super easy. Like when I just went to China and I was staying in a hotel for the first like 2 days, it was like, whoa, this is so great.
I'm getting super nostalgic right now.
But then you rent the apartment and you're like, oh, the ceilings are low. In your kitchen, you have to be like going under.
It depends on the apartment.
Ducking on, yes, some of them, but a lot of them are everything's like really low because Chinese people are relatively
maybe
short.
the older buildings. I don't think all of them. I never had that experience.
Well, I only lived in one apartment my whole time I was there, but I went to different apartments during that time.
Mm-mm.
And most of them that I saw,
Low roof.
the ceiling's low, that's one. And the kitchen, the cupboards are like, you know how you want to put your cutting board on the cupboard on the countertop, and then you want to like probably lean over to chop. You can't really lean over because the cupboard is at the top is like in your forehead.
Ah.
Yeah, so that was for me. I never liked that.
I
never
had
liked the
that.
bathrooms because they have the open shower concept where
That's popular. That's
it's just the floor. Like there's no raise or there's no step or nothing. It's just you walk into the bathroom and it's just everything on one level. The toilet, the face basin and the shower inside. Sometimes the toilet is inside of the shower. I'm like, what the heck?
Some places, but yeah, I never really saw that much.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe
I
it's the
visited
States.
friends with that,
I mean,
but
probably.
my apartments they were good. Like I hunted to find a decent apartment. Like after the first bad experience, I'm like, never again. Show me everything. And I found one that suited me. Well, others that suited me.
Okay. So that was one thing.
But there's always something wrong. Always something. I had a landlord that would go into my apartment when I wasn't there and then tell me that he wasn't in there. But I know where I leave my things. Like I'll see my bathroom window open. I didn't leave that open. Kitchen window ajar. I didn't do that. One time I thought I was going crazy because I asked, "Did you come in here?" They're like, "No." What? Am I going mad?
Chinese business people are what Jamaicans would call, should I say it?
Anansi?
Ginal. 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 Me say. Them ginal, you see? Like, they're tricksters. Like, a lot of them are, I mean, this might sound racist, but a lot of Chinese business people, based on my experience, have been tricksters. Ginal. Ginal them.
Like,
Ginal.
Accountability is not a thing. Like it's always about saving face. Nobody wants to look bad. Even in the workplace, well, where I work, it wasn't. Nobody would say, "Oh, I did this. That's my bad." "Oh, I didn't tell you that you needed to be at this place at this time. My bad." Even though you're my manager, it would always be on the person that isn't doing what they're supposed to do, even if they weren't told to do that thing. So everybody wants to save face, and I think if you're like soft-spoken or you don't really want to say, "But you didn't," and just go with it because it's not the end of the world. I can do what I need to do anyways. But if you're not speaking up for yourself, I think that's a sign that you're stupid to them because they're just used to people always having a reason to say, "No, it wasn't me. How dare you say that about me?"
My experience was the opposite of that. I feel like in my workspace, it was appreciated when you were more like of a softer composure.
Depends, I think.
Like you're still going to stand up for yourself, but not like aggressively. I don't know if it was because of me and they feared me because I tend to be kind of assertive.
I feel like some places you wouldn't have been met with that.
But I didn't have to be like, "No, I'm not doing that." It was more like, "No, I don't think that makes sense."
Yes.
You know what I mean? It was like more professional.
That's
but
not in my
a softer
contract.
tone.
Oh, contracts after this.
That's not in my contract. That's not a part of what I signed for.
I didn't sign up for this. I'm not getting paid for this.
I never had those issues because I actually got a really nice workplace.
My first job, I worked 7 days a week at first because I was being a team player and helping out. I was on holiday, like literally one day off for New Year's, and my actual day off followed it or preceded, I don't remember. And I was out having dinner with family, and I get a call, "Where are you?" I'm like, "What? I have a day off."
Was that like Christmas?
That was New Year's or Christmas too. It probably happened. No, Christmas I wasn't off, I don't think. I don't recall being off for Christmas for the first 2 years. But yeah. It was
living in China is really an experience. There are so many highs, so many lows, as Ava said, so many middle ground.
I started there.
It was really an experience.
That was my first job, so I wasn't taught before, and I wasn't versed in. Oh, don't be a like. Of course, you can be a team player, but don't give your all to this job. If you're not being compensated for it, don't do it unless it's like opportunity for growth and stuff. But that wasn't the case. I was just basically being used because it's
She
like,
was just young and a little bit naive to the whole culture of work.
Right.
And so
and they did love that.
Oh yeah. Of course they
Somebody that's gonna come in on their day off to what? Of course, send 2 more, please.
Yeah, the one thing though, saving in your Chinese, so when you go to work in China, you get a Chinese account that's signed up for where you can receive your, with your school.
I didn't get help.
So I got someone from my school to go with me to the bank to talk to them because I don't speak Chinese, and set up the account and everything. But you have to have an account. That's the point. You get an account, you get paid through that account. However, when it comes to like sending money to your US account or to your international account, it's a little bit tricky because they don't like money leaving the country. So if the money is to be sent, like for me in my situation, when I was trying to send money to my US account, I had to literally ask one of the Chinese to send it for me. So what we had to do was I send the money from my account to her, what we call Alipay, and then she sent it from her Alipay to my US account. But every time you send the money, you have to give like a reason for sending it. Like it had to be like educational purposes, or it had to be like to assist family with living expenses in the US, or it had to be a reason. Whenever she was sending it, she had to put attach a reason to sending that money.
Yeah.
So I don't know if your experience was the same.
I used to ask. There was a group. There are people that will charge you a fee to send it for you, but I later found out that you could have been doing it yourself the whole time. It's easier for locals to send money because they have a different type of ID than we do, so it's easy for them. But of course, they have to give a reason.
Did you guys have to go into the bank?
That's an option as well. You can set it up on your mobile device if you have Bank of China. You can go in there,
merchant,
and send internationally. It's just select your banks and stuff like that. And there's another way where you go into the bank and you can make a transfer that way, like give them the cash and they'll have it done. Or if you want to continue to do it yourself, you get like a USB, this device that you connect somewhere. I don't remember how it works, but there are a lot of different ways. I didn't know this from the start. I knew this towards the end of my time, and it's like, wow, I've been paying people to do this for me, and I could have been doing it myself.
I mean, a man's gotta eat, right? So yeah, definitely the sending money issue is like a big thing, and they don't like when we leave their country with any money, like a lot of money.
Who said that?
They would prefer you to get like gold.
Where did you hear that?
Because when you're on the plane and you fill out that form, if you put over a certain amount of money, they pull you aside.
Really?
Yeah. So there are a lot of groups, like we're Jamaican, and there was a Jamaican group of people who had several of them had experiences.
How much money I'm traveling with?
Maybe you look poor.
That's for entering the US or entering Jamaica. I'll see that, but to leave,
you never filled out a form?
No.
I hope nobody from China is watching this.
I hope they are.
Don't come for her.
Please view, subscribe.
Don't come for her.
Come for me for what?
Because you escaped.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, because you never filled the form.
What form?
You see? She don't know. She don't even know what form it is.
Somebody tell me what form, please.
Yeah,
because maybe it's just you. Maybe you look so rich. They're like, no, man. What is she doing over here?
No, I'm telling you. that in the Jamaican group that we had a Jamaican WhatsApp group, and several people shared their experiences as well.
Remember, that was a specific time. That was a special time. So things changed after that.
So
And I
maybe,
don't think.
but she's lucky. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it was just a different period and a different set of requirements at the time.
And if you want to visit China and you just want to be a visitor, you don't want to go there to work, there's a visa called the Z visa.
For
What is it called
visitors,
again?
is it Z? I think it's Z. Z is what you get before you get the working thing. But I think there's a tourist one, S1 or S2.
Okay, so they
for,
have
like,
different
family
categories
members,
of visas.
But somebody has to give you an invitation letter. A lot of countries now don't need invitation letters, like Germany, Serbia. Some countries you can just go now, and the list is growing every couple of years. But Jamaica's still on the list. We have to get an invitation letter.
Well, we're
to
the
visit.
crime capital of the world. What do you expect?
Are we still?
Yes.
No,
the happiest
we're not.
nation, but also the crime capital of the
Happiest.
world.
But it was
I mean, according to the statistics online.
Oh, happiest is Switzerland, man.
Google it.
Or Sweden.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the elderly versus the young views of Black people in China.
Finland is the happiest. Jamaica not even make top 10.
No, look for the crime capital.
Okay.
Maybe I'm talking about statistics from back in the day.
I remember hearing that Los Cabos, Mexico, greatest crime per capita and murder rate in the whole globe. Not even just world, I'm saying
whole globe. Jeez, what y'all doing over there in Mexico? At least
Cabo. Los Cabos is different from Cabo. I want to go to Cabo, but I don't want to. Anywho.
I don't think it means because it has a high crime rate doesn't mean you're gonna die if you go there. There's a possibility you can die anywhere.
Probability.
There's a possibility you can die anywhere. Anyway.
Oh.
So yeah, let's talk about elderly versus young views. So I feel like the younger people are more receptive and understand more about Black people.
Okay, so young people in China.
Okay. Yeah, like they like us. They want to be, a lot of them, not all, but they want to be around us. It's like a prize to have a foreign friend. You know, like they show off when they go out. Like in my experience, my friend, like she used to show off to her friend, oh, this is my friend, she's from Beimei, you know, like North America, because Jamaica is considered North America. Over there and for everywhere else in the world except Jamaica. So yeah, if you search it up and find what
I'm gonna start checking North America when they say where I'm from.
You know that I didn't know that the world views Jamaica as a part of North America until I went to China.
I didn't know the world viewed it, but I knew it was. But I didn't know until I went there too.
That's crazy. Well, Liza,
because we're on the tectonic plate of North America. So yes, technically we are.
Technically. It's so technical.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it depends on where you're from, because if you're in a rural area, chances are they've never seen anybody who isn't Chinese.
And most of the people who stay in the rural area tend to be the older people. So yes, there are young people too, but when you go to like the deep rural places, a lot of the older people still reside there. I feel like the older people are so sweet too. Like when somebody explains to them what's happening and why we look this way, then they're super sweet. But it takes them a little while. It's kind of like seeing an avatar.
A lot of people don't understand, and I'm trying to give me thicker skin or more understanding for other people. So right now, super understanding. I don't get offended as easily as I used to. Because at the start, I'm like, why are they looking at me like that? Why are you treating me like this? why is the baby crying when the baby see me? Because the babies will see you like they've never seen a black person before, and they start crying bloody murder, and it's like, what did I do to you?
Well, I mean, I haven't
used
had
to
that
feel
experience of
bad.
them crying, but like
I was in the countryside.
the stare, like from the babies, like they're looking at you in amazement, like, what is this?
Mine was out of fear. I was in the countryside, so it was weird. Not weird, but it was very new to them, and weird, yes.
I mean, I had an experience with an older lady inside of a little, kind of like a 7-Eleven here in the US, but it's a little corner store, everything store, and she was just in there shopping, and like we were in 2 separate aisles. So I was walking this way and just looking, and then she was walking this way, and we kind of collided into each other at the corner. And she screamed out. She was like, ah! And I was like, and then it was the shopkeeper, because the shopkeeper knew me. And, you know, I went there all the time to shop. And he explained something to her in Chinese. And
where the packages were? Down there?
No, man. This was do you remember where my workplace was? There's a little place across the street from there, a little corner shop right there. So that was where it happened. And I used to go down there all the time to buy like little drinks and stuff like that.
Her workplace, man, she was upstairs to a Haagen-Dazs store, the biggest Haagen-Dazs store I've ever seen in my life.
I had a really nice place, okay, y'all. We had a KFC. We had the Haagen-Dazs, we had a McDonald's, and we had a cheese bread store.
Yeah, there's bread stores everywhere and fruit stores everywhere.
I never really liked, to be honest, I'm kind of wary of people cooking for me, especially people in China, just because a lot of them don't really wash their hands when they're cooking the food or before they cook the food.
It depends on the place.
And yeah, it depends on the place, but a lot of them don't, and it bothers me. And sometimes some of the places, when I can't see them preparing the food, I can't tell. Like, and I don't trust all the meats, because my friend who was Chinese told me that the uglier the animal is, the better the meat tastes. So I was like, what? So you don't be eating ugly animals or what? So yeah, I went to the grocery store and I saw the little frog just looking up at me like this out of the little aquarium. And you have to like catch your frog that you want to eat, or you can take
Which one you take?
I don't eat frog. There's, you know, like how onion come in this mesh, plastic mesh? They have the frogs like that too, but they're alive. And people just go in and take them up, and the frogs just jumping all over in there.
You can ask them to kill it for you. I got some lobster and some fish one time. Some people take it live because they want it as fresh as possible.
I take the fish live, but I was like knocking the fish on the wall and it wasn't dying, and I was like, oh my god, what is this?
I don't want to kill anything. All right.
You want to eat it, but you don't want to kill it.
Yes. All right, maybe I would, but I got a fish. The guy scaled the fish. I asked him to kill it for me, and he did. And I'm riding my bike home, and I hang it in front of me, and I just see from the fish.
Even after I was scaling?
Yes. I think it was just like memory. So even when I was seasoning it, the fish got so. I'm like, fish, you're dead.
The fish is doing chili belly.
Woo!
That is funny.
Gosh, man.
But yeah, like it's a really interesting place, and you go to the market and you can get so much food for like so little.
And there's so many hidden gems. Any city or town that you live in, if you just drive around or ride around or walk around, you're gonna find something. One time I was just exploring where I was. I found this seafood place. Everything is alive, so like fish, crab, lobster, and stuff. And I got some lobsters for a really good price. I always thought lobster had to be expensive, but China taught me otherwise. Like, you can find local stores and it's cheap. They were delicious.
One other thing is, Chinese food tastes better in every other country I've visited than China.
Depends on where you go to eat. Don't say Chinese food. What cuisine? You have
Chinese food.
you have Sichuan style cooking. You have Cantonese. You have this. You have the north and the south, the sweet and the spicy and the sour. And it depends.
So, like I was saying, Chinese food tastes better in Jamaica than in China.
Because it's not authentic Chinese. It's not the same.
The authentic Chinese foods that I've had, I'm being completely lucid right now when I say there are only 2 places in China that I've been to that I really enjoyed the food. And one was when we cook it ourselves at the hot pot. And I really enjoyed that because I was able to put all the seasonings that I wanted to put on the food. And 2, the Chinese shrimp dumpling place. That was close to my home, and I could watch them preparing the
That's
food.
why
And it was
you
shrimp.
didn't eat out though.
I did eat out a few
Where?
times.
How often? For
Not
the time?
not often.
Okay, so it's
but
not
it
like
was
you were exploring to see.
No, but I've tried so many of the dishes there, and it just don't taste good. Like it don't have enough flavor. No.
It depends on where you go. I feel like if you did.
But Eva
go
likes
to
to try a
certain
lot of different
places.
types of food, and she likes to explore
I like to learn
different food
cuisines,
types and stuff.
and then I cook
I
it myself.
preferred the street food.
Mm-hmm.
And for some of the street food places, you actually see them with their little bucket, and they wash their hand before, and then they dry their hand, and then they cook whatever
I
they're
never
cooking
really
for
saw
you.
the hand washing, but
Yeah.
then the longer I was there,
The
less
people
I
with the
cared.
cart. Yeah, because she just adapted. You see, I don't adapt so readily, especially when it comes to food and cleanliness. Like, no, that's a no-go for me. I have to
Right.
see my food be. The other day,
Mm-hmm.
I went to, this is in the US, not in China. I went to a Jamaican restaurant somewhere close by here,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like a cloud restaurant. You ever heard of cloud restaurants?
Like high up? Like
No.
Oh.
So there is no restaurant. It's a restaurant, but there's no restaurant. It's just
Huh.
like you go into this building, and then you see the little machine that you make your order on. And then you make the order, and the food comes out to you.
From where?
From out of the building. So there are, apparently, when I broke it down to figure out what was going on, I didn't order the food, but I needed to find out why there were no people cooking. So when I did the research, the cloud restaurant is like people rent cooking, people who cook, they rent a space and they cook in that space, but there's no
Together?
sit down. Yeah, it's like a team of cook, chef.
Oh, for
Just
one
like
restaurant or just several different things and they're making different orders?
For one restaurant.
Okay.
So different people can put, like, you can put a Chinese restaurant, you can put a Jamaican restaurant, you can put a Thai restaurant, all in the same building, but they have different sections in the building.
I see.
But it's just an enclosed building with the cooks. And then the outside is just one little section where you can make your orders and you can receive your food, like a little window. And I was like, I don't trust this. I need to see the people cooking the food to know what they're cooking and see. I mean, I've been to a lot of restaurants where I don't see them, but I kind of trust more on the Western side than I do in China. Just because there are no lizards in China. There are no lizards. I haven't seen any lizards in Hangzhou since I lived there. And I was very concerned that the street food really looked like lizards. So, I don't know. There are just some things that I don't really want. And people tell me that their grandparents eat cat and dog, and I don't want to eat it. I don't want to try it. I'm not interested. No, I just don't trust it.
Okay. I don't have the same concerns. At first, yes, definitely. But then I'll be there for a while, and I usually cook for myself. But if I do go out, I used to go to one place near to where I worked the first year I was there, and I don't recall seeing him wash his hands actually, But the food was good. I trusted him. He advised me against ordering something. We used to translate and talk to each other, and he's like, "No, this is cold," because there are some cold dishes, and he's like, "I know you're not gonna like that." So it was cool. So like I'll have colleagues or friends who recommend this place or that, and I've had a lot of delicious foods there. Like the places that you cook for yourself are fun too, like Korean barbecue. You get the meat, you grill it, and it's
A
awesome.
Chinese
It's a
hot
lot
pot.
of fun. Yeah, I only went to hot pot like once though, or twice.
The only thing I don't like about the hot pot is that they
Spicy
dip
is super spicy.
their guys, I'm weird,
It's
okay?
not supposed to be done that
They
way.
dip their chopsticks into the freaking
That was
pool
with
of
your
food.
group.
Oh!
That's with your group. They're supposed to be a communal chopstick. Nobody puts from their mouth back. That's not supposed to happen.
Well, I never like it.
Your group of people did that.
Yeah, I'm just like really petty when it comes to like what I put inside my mouth.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure a lot of Chinese are like that too. A lot of people are
A lot of
clean and
Chinese have
OCD.
like really bad like hygiene and
See, because I haven't met the billions of them, I cannot comment on what most of them are
well,
like.
I'm just
or
talking about
do.
a lot of the ones that I've met or came
Okay.
across. I cannot speak
Okay.
to those who I don't know.
Because I've met a lot of neat freaks and clean people. Of course, I've met the flip side as well. So I don't know.
And there are
it's
clean
just who
people
you
and nasty
decide to
people in
be
every
around.
culture.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that part of the whole experience I didn't really enjoy.
Mhm.
I preferred cooking for myself. And also I wasn't big on meats over there. If I couldn't identify the meat, I wasn't eating it.
Okay.
Because some of the things they say is beef is not beef.
Yeah.
Some of the things they say is pork is not pork. You know, like I'm very petty about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Street food was awesome. There was this guy that had oysters every time I'd go to him.
Street food, seafood was immaculate. Like, mwah, chef's kiss.
Try oysters with minced garlic and chilies and grill it on a grill. That's divine.
Yeah, I like oysters. Oysters is like really good. What about the reception? How did people receive you as a Black person? Was it different from in the Western world, generally speaking, or was it the same?
In the Western world, there's not like a big hubbub because it's the norm. Like people have different races. It's not a big shocker. In China, it varied depending on the city that I was in. So where I was first, it was more rural. So walking down the street, I'll just see random people start following me or taking out their phone to record me or take pictures. This place, they didn't ask to take pictures with me. They were just videoing me like I'm this giraffe walking in the middle of the street. I had police do a U-turn to stop me and say, "What are you doing here?"
Really?
Yes. And ask for my passport. Like that day I had my passport. I usually don't walk with it.
That's crazy.
Me, myself, and a South African colleague of mine, police was driving by and I see him look like, and then him, and then come back. And I'm like, at first I knew, I had a feeling. I'm like, this is gonna be an issue. But then I called my boss at the time and she talked to them. She actually scolded them and said, "Why are you questioning them?" The little that I could understand. Yeah, so it's a big difference in the more rural areas where people don't know that other races exist or have never seen other races in their lives. But more globalized areas like Nanjing, Shanghai, Hangzhou, Beijing, places, although those places also have rural areas. So if you're in the city, that's when you get less of a reaction. But maybe you'll see like a visitor from the rural area and they're like, and like taking in everything. Yeah.
For me, for the reception, I have two stories, and I'm only gonna share those two stories because I don't want to make this too long. So one was I was in the mall and there were some girls selling some clothes and shoes and stuff like that, and they were like really cute stuff, but I never had any money that day. Anyway, but I still went over to look at them, and one of the girls was like so intrigued with my skin. She was like, "Oh my gosh, your skin! Can I touch it?" Like she tried to touch my skin, and I'm like, "It's yeah, you can touch it. It's just like yours." Like and she touched it, and she was like, "Ah!" Like in amazement. And I feel like that just happened one time with my skin, but several times with my hair. And when I was living in China for the most time, I didn't wear my hair out like this. I wore braids. And they were so intrigued with the braids, men and women alike. And they wanted to touch it, and they wanted to, like, even the kids, they would be like, "Oh, the lady with the yellow hair." And it's really just brown, like a brown shade with braids. And they found it so amazing how we made the twist stay, because their hair is bone straight, and if you make a twist in it, it just opens out. It doesn't stay. So that was one of the interesting ways that I was received by them. And I remember when I changed the braids from the long braids to the short twists.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "You cut your hair," and they didn't understand. And it was so funny because a lot of the extensions that we wear are from China. So there were a lot of people who like work in the factories and stuff like that. They don't even know what they're making.
Or maybe they do,
A lot
but
of
it's
them
not
don't
a big
know.
population of people working in the hair factories.
Oh yeah, there's a big population of people working in the hair factories.
Compared to the whole population, it's not a big population working with hair.
We can do the research on that because I bet to differ. But okay, because like almost every hair come from China. Apart from even some of the ones that I say is Peruvian and Colombian and Brazilian, made in China.
But when you talk about the skin, it reminds me of an experience I had both in China and in the US. So China had a student did this and look at their hand like they thought it was gonna come off the color. And another time I was in the pool and some little kids, they were I don't know where they're from, but we're in South Carolina and the kids were white, parents Caucasian. And they're like, "Can I touch your skin? It looks so soft." And they're like, "How is it so soft?" And I'm like, "That's so nice."
Maybe they thought it looked hard because it looked darker.
I don't think that at all. I think it was the water and maybe I don't know. But it was sweet to me. I didn't take offense at all.
But a lot of the Chinese people, they feel like our skin's dark because we don't shower.
I've heard that.
Yeah, my friend and I, we were really close. But I lost my contacts, so I can't even like talk to her anymore. But when I was there, she told me the tea, girl. She told me everything. Like a lot of them, they think that we're dirty, and they don't wear a lot of perfumes. And they also think that we wear perfumes and we smell so sweet because we're trying to mask the fact that we don't shower.
Where's that friend from?
She's not originally from Hangzhou, but she lived in Hangzhou when I was there. I don't know her.
Where she's from.
Yeah.
That's a one person's perception.
But it was like a far... No, she's telling me about her people.
That's her people. That's not all I'm saying is not everybody.
Well, there are exceptions to everything, Evie. I can only talk to my experience.
You're saying they and they. You're saying...
lot of them. I said a lot of them that I have experienced are that way.
All right.
And did anybody tell you about the whole maybe this is straying from the topic, which I always do, but but the whole menstruation thing?
Yeah, not showering while on your menses.
Not what?
Showering.
Yes. So that was like a thing that shocked me in their culture. It doesn't have anything to do with reception, but like they don't shower when they have their menstruation.
Some people, I've spoken to a few colleagues I had, and they're like, they know of that practice, but they don't all subscribe to it.
No, they don't all subscribe to it. A few of my colleagues from my school, from my job, were saying that they don't.
And I think that a lot of the younger people are quite aware of the of the stereotypes that people, the rest of the world, have about China. Because
Oh yeah.
I'll talk to people and they're like, "Hey, I don't eat cat. I don't eat snake. My grandma." Like, I'll have kids say, "My grandma," or somebody, but no, we don't. So they're trying to preemptively say, "No, it's not everybody."
And I mean, in every culture, there are practices that not everybody do. We're Jamaican, and not everybody smoke weed. You know what I mean? So it's just like, if some people think that all Jamaicans are Rastas and have locks, all Jamaicans have black skin. You know what I mean? So there are differences in every culture and every race.
Yeah. Or all Jamaicans are black.
Yeah. All right. So expectations. I kind of touched on this a little bit. They expect that you are there for a particular reason. If you're an expat and you live in, or you're visiting China, they expect that you are a wealthy visitor, because they feel like it's going to take. Some of them, within my experience, feel like it takes a wealthy person to travel from their own country to visit China.
Because it's the wealthy that normally travel outside. That's why.
For them, right?
I have a friend that traveled for 6 months last year into this year. He's a businessman, so I guess he had the time.
Chinese?
Yeah. We met in Jamaica. It was fun. He was just jumping from country to country. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, another expectation that they have of us is that we're going to smell sweet. I don't know, like, in my experience, the people at my workplace, they were like excited to see what I'm going to smell like the next day, because I would switch up my perfume or switch up my body splash, and yeah, it was like a thing, like, okay, you smell different, like it was a thing.
Yeah. The Chinese girls I knew, they wore perfumes and stuff. They love that type of thing.
Oh, so... mine didn't. I guess our experiences were very different. Yeah, but the Chinese girls that you knew, were they like educated American culture, or were they educated in rural China?
Repeat that.
Were they educated like in American culture?
Like went to schools
here
that taught English? Here. Oh, no. Chinese has a huge fashion and hot girl culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the street fashion, the fashionistas.
Oh, so they were like into the street fashion.
Or they just know of it because doing TikTok, it has a lot of that stuff as well. So the younger people, they're seeing like, fashion and stuff. They have a huge nail culture, a lot of acrylics and stuff. Not the same as here, but they mostly like the light pinks and stuff. They don't really do but some do. So it's just where they are from, but and a lot of friends and stuff.
A lot of them, they just wear beige. And I remember when I first went to China and everybody was wearing like beige and black and white and like nudes. I was like,
winter?
These people never hear about color before.
Winter?
It wasn't quite winter yet. It was still summer. But I mean, I feel like they have a lot of, in my experience, people who just don't really wear color.
If it's at work, then I'll see that, but not even, because I had coworkers that would. I've seen a lot.
Well, I went to the hot spots. A lot of the hot spots around my area, and even in the night when they're going out on dates, you see them walking, and most of the guys, they're in a black pants, a white shirt, or a beige shirt, or a beige pants and a white shirt. Like, you could just tell those colors were, even when you go into like the Forever 21 over there, most of the things were like so neutral. I was like, this is so different from Forever 21 in the US where I am.
Forever 21 and H&M in Suzhou. It's a lot of colors. It's where we are, I think.
Maybe.
Because I've seen. Yeah.
There were colors, and don't get me wrong, there were colors, but when you look at the comparison of clothes, like everything's just so bland, and I'm a color girl. I love color. I love yellows and neons and oranges and bright colors. And I didn't find a lot of that.
Okay.
I didn't find a lot of that, especially where I was.
Yeah.
So I guess our experiences are different.
Yeah.
And then we would like to hear from the netizens. Because we
Okey-dokey.
haven't spoken to you guys in such a long time. We have to include you in this video, you know?
Yeah. I found an article by a young man, Hassani Arnold. He went to Tsinghua University in China. I just want to say a little snippet from this article that he wrote. So he says, I lost it. He's talking about his experience in China when he was renting an apartment. So they agreed over the phone, himself and the landlord at a certain price. Let me try and find that section. I was reading some different parts. Okay, so he says, after verbally committing to the apartment, the landlord informed my school administrators that she did not like black people and that she would not rent to me solely because I was black. I thought I had done everything right. I was respectful, responsible, and pursuing an education, but none of that mattered to this landlord who disdained me because of my color. That happened a lot. That happens a lot. I heard a lady, she posted a video talking about her experience in a store. It was a Jamaican lady. She was in a store trying to buy some scarves or something, and the woman chased her out of the store saying that she's a thief and whatever just because she's black. And I've had a similar experience. Like, I'll be in a little supermarket and I'll just see somebody with their hand behind them walking behind me, following me. I'm like, that's kind of happening in the US too. It's not just China.
I feel like in the
But
US,
more
when you go
so-
to some of the like top brand stores and you're black, sometimes they'll like follow you around.
That's annoying.
May I help you? I mean, yeah, you can help me. How about you take me a glass of water, please?
Sparkling. It is annoying.
It is a thing,
I'm just
though.
living my life. I never did anything, but because of what your perception of a black person is, you're taking that out on me, and that's not fair. What if
The cost of being black
Mm-hmm.
in China.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. It's crazy. So I found this question somebody posed: how common is racism in China against black people? And they continue to say, basically, what made me curious to ask this question after meeting a racist student from China who said he discriminated against black people and he justified not doing it with me because I wasn't completely black. So I guess this person was mixed. So the person was like, I don't fully hate you, but
Just
I
a little
normally
bit.
don't. I normally don't like them. Like, sometimes when I'll see things happening in China, I now try not to jump to the conclusion that, oh, it's because I'm black with anything that happens to me. But sometimes that's the only course, that's the only place to go from my mind. Like, this, he's literally telling you, this is this.
Yeah.
There's no way to say, oh, it's because what?
But I kind of
You
feel
got
like
the
that's
facts.
everywhere. Like, it's not just China and it's not just the US and it's not I feel like it's everywhere, like for different reasons in each place, that people have an aversion to dark skin or colored people.
There was this video going around once in China, this woman teaching her daughter. So the daughter goes to the school and there's a foreigner working there, a black woman. So it's like the daughter would get close and say hi to the lady and fun and stuff is being had. And the mother is sitting down and said, hey, what did we say about black people? Daughter, they're dirty. And what else? They're thieves and they're this and they're that. And the mother is like, very good, good. So you can tell her hello, but do not say more than that to her because we don't want to. And it was like basically the mother recording herself and her child talking and like teaching her something good to say, you have to be safe, protect yourself from black people because they're criminals and this and that.
Yeah.
So that is a thing there. And this is the mom teaching the kid. I don't know what experience the mom had. If somebody black robbed her or something, and she's like
No,
suffering
it's
from
passed down. That's what I'm telling you.
PTSD.
It's passed down.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, we have these things in our mind. And when I say we, I'm using that very loosely because I'm black and I'm not a
People.
thief and I'm not a crook and I never rob anywhere and I never disrespect anybody. You know what I'm saying? But people are free to have their opinions and people are free to believe what they want to believe. And as such, I just know within myself that I have to protect myself by keeping on the right and narrow path.
It would be great if people base their opinion and fact, though. Like, find something and do your comparison before you say, you know what, I don't like this whole race of people because.
But maybe there's a fact for that family. Maybe a black person really did rob them great grandfather when he went on a trip to the Caribbean. I don't know. So you don't know other person's reality.
I get it.
Then we're not like in a position to determine how they should think.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I get what you're saying, that you want the world to have world peace and everybody just be positive, but that ain't the way it is.
I didn't say that. I said base your findings, your opinions on fact. Like, have something, some foundation other than how you feel, because feelings can lead us to destruction.
That is true. But they might have a fact of something that happened.
I hear you. I'm not disputing that.
Yeah. So we might think that they don't have any fact, but they have a fact.
They have an opinion.
It's still a fact if it happened to them great grandfather who tell them about it. Pass it down. I don't know.
Facts about that person. But yeah, we'll never end this, you know.
Yeah. So you have anything else from the netizens? Or that's about it?
Yeah, another story this person says, I knew of a guy that was banned from swimming in the pool because they thought he might spread AIDS in the water. There was an incident in Guangdong during COVID where the local businesses were told to refuse service to black people. It's pretty common. That did happen.
That just shallow. Like, how dumb can you be? You can't swim in the pool because what? Your blackness going to rub off in it?
No, them think they have AIDS. I think some Africans have AIDS, or all.
I know, like, everybody have AIDS then. All black people have AIDS.
They based it off a fact that they knew of.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. In their reality. No, but it's true. It's true. It's stupid to us. But in their reality, it might be that they didn't meet a black person and that black person did have AIDS and they gave it to somebody that in the family. I don't know. You don't know. We don't know.
The media is very powerful. Whichever country you are, if you're listening to this thing, news that you are told is fact and is always honest and always true, you're gonna listen to it. So there was this thing in Guangdong province, where there were a lot of Africans there, and a lot of people were getting what's the word when you get kicked out of your apartment?
Evicted?
A lot of people were getting evicted, they were refused service for a lot of stuff, and they were making videos and saying, this is how you're treating us in your country, but they're building stuff in our country. So it was a big thing that was going on. I think it was kind of moved past, like, yeah, people are still there and they're working now, but whenever there are times of hardship or so for a country, it's kind of a trend to see that it's the black people that are the first one to get thrown under the bus. I've seen that a lot of times happening. I'm not saying that it always
on your
happens.
fact in your reality.
Based off information and research that I've done and stuff that I've seen. It's not my reality, but I've read and I've seen these things happening over years, over different disasters.
Fact.
Yeah, so not everybody racist, but you can find some there, and it's a good experience. You can save a lot of money, black or not, but we're talking about black. Oh, there's payment disparity. Black people, some schools will pay black people less. They basically want to have a nice, clean face to show the public. So, yeah, you're less likely to be hired as well. if you're black in China.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And they also think that Jamaica is in Africa, a lot of them. So they don't know anything about the Caribbean. A lot of them. They know, some of them know Usain Bolt, but they never
They'll
hear
do
about
this
but they never
when
hear
they
about
see
Bob
you.
Marley.
Mm.
And I found that so strange when I was there too. Like, how do you
It
know
was in
Usain?
Beijing.
How do you
That
know?
Olympics was in Beijing, so
So that's why they know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bob
well, that
never
makes
go
sense.
Beijing.
How you know that?
I don't know.
Is that a fact?
It was closed. Remember, the
Huh?
country was closed for a long time. When did it open up? In the 70s
I
or
think
80s?
you should do the research before you spread that out there.
What spread what? It's a known fact. China
But
was
you don't
closed
know if
for a
Bob
long
went
time.
to China, though.
I said I don't know.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
I said I don't know. But yeah, were you swayed, Miss Mika?
I mean, I've always, it's kind of hard to sway me because I always take the public view. Well, for the most part, I take the public view because I kind of see eye to eye with the public. I feel like being black in China is based on your experience,
Mm-hmm.
and as is a lot of things in life.
Mm-hmm.
And based on how you go about that experience, it can shape your entire time that you spend there.
Yeah.
And it's there, it has its pros and cons. It's fun and it's a learning experience, and you know, you get to travel a lot and all of that. But being black is just something that's kind of inevitable for us. We don't have a choice. But it's just amazing to see how people receive us differently in different parts of the world. So yeah, I'm pretty swayed on the fact that Western views and Chinese views of being black are very different, and in the same breath, very similar.
Yeah. So definitely, yeah, there's a lot of similarities there. But the history part, the historical factors, those are obviously quite different. So the reasoning behind why a person doesn't like a black person or treats them differently, or
It's mostly because of lack of exposure for them,
yes,
rather than hatred because of 400 years on a plantation.
right.
All right, so thank you guys for tuning in. This was another long episode.
Yes.
We will definitely see you in the next episode, but don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Right.
And make a comment below because that kind of helps the channel as well.
Let us know what you want to hear about next, or what do you want to talk about next, and your experiences, of course.
Being black in China.
Or whatever.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.